welcome to another CRaFTi video. I'm actually filming this on the day that this video is going to go out because I only just got the Decadent Desk Decor to be able to play with to do a video for you. But I'm actually changing the way I'm going to do my videos. I don't think I'm going to do my up close videos or my unboxing videos anymore. I just feel like I keep repeating myself too much and saying the same things in them, and I'm annoying myself, so I'm presuming some of you probably get annoyed by it too. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to kind of do a video like I would do my sped up videos, but have the talking in it. So it's basically me not 100% knowing what I'm going to make, and then just making it, and then, you know, speeding bits of it up and talking in it as well. So I decided for this one, so if you do buy this set, then you'll get the instructions of how to put together this gorgeous desk organiser, which is quite large from the pieces that are in here. But what I wanted to do is just make some cards, because I absolutely love card making, as you know. It's my favourite part of crafting, is making cards. So I just wanted to take some of these beautiful panels and create some cards with them. So what I'm thinking is taking this large panel here, die cutting it from card, and then using it as a stencil to create an overall background pattern for a card. Then I'm also thinking this panel here, I might ink a piece of card first and then die cut it, and we could use that on another card. And then I might also do another card using the corner pieces, maybe already having an inked background and then putting the white corner pieces on top of it or something. And I've also gone through my stash and picked out, I thought if anything looked too empty, I could use those gorgeous luxurious leaves, because I haven't actually used those yet. Or I've also got a bunch of different sentiments here as well. There's a few birthday kind of ones in there that I might use, or thank yous, or there's a Mother's Day one, or I'm so sorry. But you also have in here just a note, which would work for your cards too. But there's also words like scissors, glue, pens, notes, bits and bobs, and a place for, because obviously it's a desk tidy. But you could definitely use some of these words and create punny kind of sentiments with it, like you're the glue to our friendship or something. You know, you could do funny things like that. So I thought I'd just get on with making some gorgeous cards. So first of all, I'm going to have 3 backgrounds. I think I'm going to go for 3 cards. And first of all, I want to cut this one from some thick white card to make a stencil. And ta-da, we've got our stencil. I thought I'd do that off camera so that you're not seeing me poke all the little pieces out. And it's a decent size actually for my favourite size of card. So you could just stencil over that, because because it's so detailed, it is sort of making the card bow, so we're going to have to like hold it whilst we're stenciling. But it's a decent size for my favourite size of card, so you could just have like a curved portion on there. But I think that this pattern is going to be easily repeatable, so maybe we'll be able to turn it up that way, or maybe we'll just have to like shift it and do it in a few different parts. But I think it's going to work well for doing this stenciling with. And I recently got the new Scorched timber colour, and I thought it might go nicely with like some pinky reddy kind of colour tones as well. So if we line that up on to here, just so we've got the pattern on, you know, going both sides of the card, so we won't have to touch up any of the edges with extra tiny little bits of pattern or anything. I think I'm going to go all over it. I might end up leaving a blurry edge on one side, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to go with a large Nuvo blending brush for my worn lipstick, and then I'm going to sort of pounce, I think, and lightly twist to kind of get the ink in there, so we're not like shifting too much of that fine delicate detail. And I'm going to go most places with the worn lipstick first, and then I'm going to come back in with the Festive berries and then Scorched timber as well. And I'm not going to go along that harsh line, just in case it doesn't perfectly match up. If we have that harsh line, it might be difficult to kind of disguise it. So I think if we kind of go like this, then it'll work out better. Okay, so I'm just sort of like twisting to get the colour in there and trying not to shift the stencil. You can definitely use your CRaFTi's magnetic platform to hold this down. Or my lovely friend Lourdes sent me one of those waffle flower sticky mats. I've not tried it yet, but I definitely want to give that a go to hold stencils down while I'm working. I don't know if it would work as well with a cardboard one. I'm not sure, but I will do one of my like experiment videos, I reckon, playing with that, or another you know, card making video. I haven't decided yet, but I will be using that at some point in the future. So I'm just going in with some of the Festive berries just to give like a bit of variation, because I feel like Festive berries is a very pinky red, so it goes really nicely with the worn lipstick. And then I'm going to do a little bit of the Scorched timber. I don't really use like brown inks with colours, but I always love brown and blue together, and I thought brown and pink might work really nicely together as well. I had some Kanban papers years ago and they had like a brown and pink sort of colour scheme to them, and they were really pretty. So I think just a few patches of the Scorched timber, I keep forgetting what the name is because it's so new. Go a little bit over there, a bit more over there. Okay, so we've got that beautiful pattern there, which we could definitely just leave like that with that random open edge. But I think I want to try and line up the pattern if I can. So I think maybe I'm going to have to go like this and shift it upwards a bit, which might mean we have to do the pattern a couple of times. See, it repeats differently, so maybe if we might have to then come and correct that piece there. But if we line that up there, we'll get a decent chunk of it, and then hopefully we can just line it up a bit further up and fill in the rest of that as well. So back to the worn lipstick, and do the twisting motion, I think. And you could definitely use this afterwards. I don't know. No, I don't think that rectangle will be big enough to cut this out. Maybe we could use this though. Yeah, maybe we could actually use this to create the third card or something. We shall see how it turns out. Okay. Okay, got the gorgeous worn lipstick, and then a little bit of Festive berries. And then a little bit of the Scorched timber. Okay, let's see. See, we've just got one little funny bit here and then the tiny bit up there. So hopefully, yeah, that is going to match up. So we can just do those two little sections in parts to make it really simple. I love how you can use die cuts like this because it just gives them another use. You don't have to always have cut it out. You can have it completely flat if you want to, completely one layer. And then line this little bit up. And let's just go in with the Scorched timber. Okay, that's a gorgeous overall background. It does actually remind me of one of their stencils that they'd brought out quite a while ago. So, you know, if you have one of those stencils, you could use that. Or if you missed out on them, then it's a similar kind of pattern. It's really reminding me of one of those patterns. So we've got that done. We might come back and use that later, depending. And then I really want to also use this panel, but I want to die cut it out of an inked piece so that we get a coloured panel rather than putting like a white panel onto the colour. So I'm just going to take a scrap of white card and then cut that out, save that one for later, and then I'm just going to ink this up in the same colours. And this one actually, we could maybe do some clear heat embossing over the top to kind of make it look like a tile as well afterwards, once we've die cut it. So that could be a cool technique to show you too. I love these big brushes for getting a lot of colour down really quickly over a large area. And then we can bring in a little bit of the Festive berries, which blends really nicely with the worn lipstick, which is really good. Okay, and then some of the Scorched timber. And if we put clear embossing over this once we've die cut it, it will like intensify the colours as well. So that might give a different result too. Okay, a bit more up there. Maybe do a bit more of the Festive berries in this corner to make sure we've got enough. And then we can always come back over with a bit more of the worn lipstick to blend that in. Although I don't want to, I've kind of dulled this bit down. Okay, I think that's good. I want to leave that to dry because Distress inks stay wet for quite a long time and I don't want to make my dye all messy. So we'll leave that to dry. Then, I'm not sure what I want to do for the third card because now I'm kind of thinking, well, I could use this and I could also show you a different way of like using something that's like this. So the pattern that goes with this quarter circle here is the same pattern as this, so you don't need to do this. But if you had a patterned panel that you wanted to use on something like this, you can just take this like solid die and place it on there and cut it out, and then you'd get the pattern in a different position to the actual die here if you wanted to do that. Or if it was just a larger pattern panel die like some of the 6x6 or 5x7 kind of ones that Tonic have done, you could then use those patterns on this desk organiser if you wanted to as well. But the way I would do this, I think, is to stick this down first. So let's take another scrap of card. I'm kind of going off what I was planning on doing, but I think this will be something useful to show you. Because I think I've said this in a video before actually. But yeah, if we take this and then take our fine tip glue and stick this down nicely. So try and get as many of the little areas as you can, because otherwise if you're die cutting it you might lose some of those little areas when you die cut it. I'll speed this bit up because it might take me a little while. Okay, so now I've stuck that down onto there, I would then take this die and decide the area that I like, because I mean it's all in different colours this piece, but also you can kind of decide the pattern that you like to make it look different to the actual die that has this pattern on. Maybe like that, so we've kind of got 3 of the flowers on there. And then I'm just going to take that into place and then we can just die cut that out. And there you go. So you can take any of your patterned panels, oops, I really made the table shake then. You can have any of your patterned panels into, you know, turn them into pieces to go onto any of your 3D projects. You can do that with any of your boxes as well. Take completely different patterns, and because you've sort of stuck it down and then die cut it, it's really like fused the pattern onto the solid piece as well. So, you know, fun different ways of creating patterns for your boxes. Maybe you don't like the uniform look, you know, like if it's a patterned panel it's repeating all the way around the exact same pattern. Maybe if you take a larger patterned panel and cut all of the panel pieces to go onto a 3D box out of that larger pattern, you'll get random patterns around it. So maybe you would prefer that look. So I thought that was just something good to show you. And then I also want to die cut this. And then I think we will do some clear heat embossing on it, because I think that will look quite nice. It'll just give it a little extra look as well. Okay, I'll just put my plates in wonky, I think, because I've kind of stuck that down to the plate. So this is 300 GSM white card, so I'm going to go backwards and forwards a few times. And it's also good to like flip it over. And just make sure it's really well stuck. And I'm sorry, I think my table's sort of touching the pole that my camera's attached to. I think that's why it's shaking so much. Okay, that cut really well. Okay, so we've got this so far for our 3 cards. I'm going to do the clear heat embossing onto this one because I think that'll look really good. But before we go any further, I'm going to decide on the sentiments so that I kind of know, you know, like maybe I want to tear a piece out of this background and put a sentiment in a channel, or maybe I do want to keep it as it is and have a bigger sentiment on there. So I feel like looking for a sentiment is going to be the next good step for this. And we might need to ink blend some more cardstock to cut a sentiment out to kind of go with this card as well. So I was kind of drawn to this birthday wishes one, which kind of looks a bit masculine, and these are quite a feminine pattern, but it might go nicely with it. We'll have a look. So if you're interested in this set, it's called Selection of Sentiments, and it's 4980E if you're looking for that one. And I've got this gorgeous birthday wishes. So birthday wishes, it could go up there on this one. That would fill in the space nicely. So it's a possibility for there. Another sentiment that I liked the look of, there wasn't many thanks on there, but I wasn't sure maybe to do a Mother's Day one with this gorgeous little Mother's Day set that came out last Mother's Day, I think. I think it was last Mother's Day. It could have been the one before, to be honest. And then I think that would look really nice on there. And I would usually do a vellum bubble on this one, but I think because this is such a busy background, I might do a white bubble. And then maybe even heat emboss a sentiment, or cut it out of a fancy cardstock or something. Not sure about that yet, but I do think that one looks nice for a Mother's Day card. And then I think maybe I want a longer kind of sentiment on this one. Most of these are chunkier kind of sentiments. I could do I'm so sorry. Or I have these ones here, which I always come back to because I love these ones. Maybe just a simple thanks in the middle. Or you can do thanks, sorry it's late. Thanks it's late. No, that's not going to work. We could do, well, no, I think maybe I'll just do thanks. Okay. Could do thanks right in the centre of that. And again, for this one, I probably am going to do a white bubble because it's such a strong pattern. I don't know whether vellum would mute it down enough to make the word stand out. If I cut the bubble from vellum and then the sentiment from white, it might be better to cut the bubble from white and then the sentiment from another colour. I don't think I'm going to need this foliage like I thought I might. I mean, it would look lovely on this card. Maybe I'll open it and see, because I haven't actually used these ones yet. But I really like the look of this. I used the Ivy version, but I didn't get to do the show for this one, so I didn't actually use this one yet. Wow, okay, I wasn't expecting it to have that many pieces inside it. That's cool. It doesn't show that on the packaging. Might go nicely. You know, just having like one piece of that up the side maybe. maybe just having that in white just to give a little bit of detail, and then doing a vellum bubble on this one with a coloured sentiment, maybe. Oh, there's also this like corner piece here. We could do both of those in white to kind of fill in the background a bit, and then just do a coloured sentiment and not need the bubble for this one. I think I might do that. Okay, so we've got more things to die cut. So I need to decide what colour I'm going to cut these two sentiments out of, because I'm going to cut the bubbles from white, if I've got enough card here on this scrap. So definitely want to cut the thanks bubble from white and this one from white. And then I definitely want to cut these two pieces of foliage from white. And I've just got enough for that piece there. And then I've got another scrap here for this one. So that's everything I want cut from white. This I need to, well, unless maybe I pick the same metallic for all of the cards for a sentiment. Something brown metallic, maybe the glazed chestnut. Let me go find a sheet of it. Okay, so glazed chestnut I think is the perfect pearlescent brown to go with the scorched timber, if you have that distressing. So I'm going to go and cut all of these out of this colour. Okay, I'll die cut all this and then come back. Okay, so we've got to this point now. I think that's the rough kind of layout I want for this card. And then we've got that gorgeous corner piece which we created not using the actual corner die. So it goes edge to edge pattern rather than having the border around the edge, like if you'd use the actual pattern that comes in that semicircle, quarter circle. Then I've got this card, which is the beautiful overall background, and I'm doing the Happy Mother's Day, and you can see how having the white bubble really helps that sentiment stand out, whereas with the vellum, I think it would be quite hard to read. Even though I use vellum to mute the background, I don't think it would be enough to mute this busy background. But I was also thinking we could just take some of the leftover ink on this brush and just sort of smudge it down the middle to kind of make it less harsh. So it's really white on the edges, but in the centre it's more pinky toned in the background. I thought that might look nice too. Yeah, I think that makes it stand out just a little bit more. So that's that one. And I also found these in my stash, little coppery coloured gems. I'm not sure where I bought these from. They might have been from Lucy's cards or from Pretty Pink Posh, maybe, somewhere like that probably. But I bought these ages ago, and I think I have used them a couple of times, but they go really nicely with that glazed chestnut. So I'm going to embellish with gems, but you can definitely use your Nuvo drops. I think it's called Dirty Bronze would be like the perfect colour for this, but I want them to be dry because it's the same day that this video is going out, so I can't really wait for them to dry nicely. And then this one, I think we're going to go with that little thanks in the centre, which is another one of my favourite die sets for sentiments. And then I think we are going to do the technique of adding clear embossing powder over the top. So I'm just going to get a scrappy piece of paper. Okay, then I keep my little mini clear ink pads to one side to do this with, because you never know if any ink is going to transfer onto your ink pad. And I have had mine a long time. I think one of the, probably this one to be honest, came out in one of the original craft kits. I think they did mini ones way back then. It's also got like mica on it as well. But a great way to re-ink this, because Tonic don't do re-inkers for their ink pads, the little Wow freestyle tool, which is called an ink pad refill and conditioner, works really well. I've been using it for a while. I think I said in a video before that I'd used the mixed media brush, but then I remembered that I had this, so I'm pretty sure I used this on it. But it works really nicely. It doesn't like eat away the Nuvo pad. It works really well. It's compatible, it seems to be. So I'm just going to re-ink it with that, and then just press it all over your inked panel. You can do this with metallic colours as well, to give the faux metal embellishment, and I've done a tutorial video on that a little while back. But we'll just press this all over to get it nicely covered in ink, and then we're just going to douse it with some clear embossing powder. So I've got my little clear one there. Cover it with this, and then we will heat it and possibly do a second layer on it as well. Okay, so we've got our first layer done on that, and you can see it's nice and glossy, but it's got a texture to it still. I think I want it to be smoother, so I'm going to take the scrap paper again, take the little clear mark ink pad, press it all over the surface again to cover it in ink. Okay, and then add the clear embossing powder and then heat set it again. Okay, there we go. Oh, I keep dropping things today. And then the second layer goes much quicker because you've already heated the first layer on there as well. But gorgeous shiny effect, and it has kind of changed the colour of the scorched timber a little bit as well. It's kind of made it more of like a mushroomy brown sort of colour, I think. But I like that though. So I think for this card we're just going to layer that in the centre. And I know it seems ludicrous to try and put 3D foam on the back of this, but I do like adding 3D foam when I put panels like this. But the way I do it is I'm just using a low profile one, so it's really not really that much raised, but it just adds a little bit of dimension to it. And then I just cut really skinny strips and just put it around the border. I'm not going to go into all of the fussy little details in the middle. I just like to put it just around the border, and if you just cut really skinny tiny little strips about 2 millimeters wide, it works really nicely. And then a little tiny bit more. Tiny bit too long. There we go. And then save that bit for later. And then we can just take the backing off of this. And because we've added that embossing powder, actually, it makes it more sturdy than if it was just cardstock. So even though there's like these fine fiddly details in there, and we're only adding foam tape to the outside, it's still going to hold up nicely because it's really strong now. It's got that embossing powder on there. And isn't that pattern of this panel gorgeous? I probably should hold it against the white, but isn't it beautiful, that pattern? So let's go in the centre, press it down. And then you've got that, hopefully that's straight, gorgeous panel, which is gorgeous and glossy. And then we can add our sentiment on the top. So just right through the middle with the little thanks on there. So I will stick that down now. It doesn't take too long, just tiny little dobs of glue on the back of the sentiment, and then I tap it on my hand just to get rid of the big blobs, and it also kind of moves the adhesive around a little bit so it covers some of the areas where there wasn't like a little dob of glue as well, if you put it down and pick it up again. And then stick that onto its bubble. And then I think use a little bit of that leftover 3D foam to stick it on. Okay, that should do. And I will use a bit of glue as well, just to make sure it grabs nicely. and then just put that right in the centre. And that glazed chestnut pearlescent card goes absolutely perfectly with the colour of the scorched timber. So really pretty. So I might add some gems to that. We'll come back when we're adding gems and see. Then to finish this one, I'm just going to do the little dabs of glue on the back of the Happy Mother's Day sentiment. And then I'll put it on the bubble, and I will raise this one up with 3D foam as well. Okay, so we've got that one on there as well, and we'll add gems in a little bit too. I just want to get this one stuck down first, and we'll get them all on the card blanks first, and then we can put the gems. Then you don't risk moving the gems when you're sticking them onto your card blanks. So let's go with this gorgeous swirly corner piece. These are fantastic, these. I'm not sure if they're still available. I would presume maybe they sold out because they're so pretty. But if I can still find them, any of these dies that I've used, if they are still available on either of the Tonic websites, then I will link them in the description below the video. I think I'm going to put both underneath the semicircle. Okay, and then I think like that maybe, and then the birthday wishes, I like it like that. Okay, I am just going to stick this flat, I think. I'll just use glue for that. And then just stick down the birthday sentiment as well. Okay, I think that's straight. Okay. Now I'm just going to cut all my card blanks and stick these on, and then I'll come back to do the gems with you. Okay, they're all on their card blanks, and then I just want to decide, I mean, do I even need gems, and do I want to put them like in the centres of the flower design, because there's just that perfect place on this pattern to put them. Do I want to go with that? I think it does look pretty nice doing that. And if I was embellishing with Nuvo drops, then I probably would go for the centre of all of those gorgeous flowers. I'm trying to pick the same size gem for each centre as well. The sort of larger size is working nicely, which I think is maybe like a 6mm. Got that pretty symmetrical actually. I guess the pattern must have been symmetrical to the die that we used for a stencil, because it's actually, you know, like equidistant from the edges of the card. So that was quite lucky actually. I wasn't even thinking about that, but that worked out really nicely. Yeah, I think this is going to look good with those gems on. So two more. Okay, I think that looks good. Yeah, I like that. It kind of balances the darker colour of the sentiment. Then, for this one, we could put gems in the centres. Maybe go for a smaller gem. This is more of like a 4mm maybe. Another one of those on there. could do some on the berries, but I think maybe that's going to stand out too much. Maybe, oh, let's go for the tiny little ones and do like 3 of them just up here, just to sort of add a bit of bling to that top corner as well. So I'm just going to do 3 in a row, neatly in a row, up there to do that one. And then for this one, because this panel, it's different distances from the top and bottom and the sides, it might look nice to have the gems down the sides here. Not all the way down, just like 3 of them on each side, maybe. Yeah, I think that'll look good. I'll do 3 on this bottom corner as well. And I'm going all the same size. You could do, you know, decreasing or increasing size if you want to, but I think all the same size looks good. Okay, I'll stick all of those down and then I'll come back. Okay, so there we have our 3 cards with all of the gems on there, just using 3 of the different, oh no, well 4, because this has 2 dies to it, so 4 of the different dies from the Decadent Desk Decor die set, which is showcase number 46, I think, if I've got the numbers right still, and just showing you a few ways of using those gorgeous patterned panels on there, and then just, you know, adding a few sentiments or extra dies from our Tonic stash. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this new sort of format of videos. I'm really sorry that I feel like I want to retire the up-close videos and the unboxing videos, but, oh, Pumpkin's sad about it, but because I don't always get sent all of the launches now, and then I have to spend like 2 days making all of the samples to be able to film one of my up-close videos, and then it's difficult when, you know, yeah, it's a whole thing. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this new kind of style of video. I'm back again. I remember reading a comment the other day. Someone said they really wanted me to show Pumpkin in a video. So here's my gorgeous little girl. Pumpkin, you're going to look up at the camera. You look up here. Pumpy, up. There we go. Look at your gorgeous face. There she is. Gorgeous little Jack Russell. She sits on my windowsill just opposite me normally, so that's why I often talk to her, and she often says things, and she's still looking out the window now, but there she is, if you wanted to see her. She's a gorgeous little Jack Russell crossed with mostly Chihuahua, but she's got other things in her as well, and she is a year and a couple of months old now, but yeah, there she is. So thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.